Question 7 from Mate asks about the change from a product to a process, and this is a quote from myself: the iterative journalism of new media, the story that is forever unfinished. Mate, you ask, what do I think are the positive and negative aspects of this characteristic? Well, the positive aspects first, let's start with the good stuff, is that journalists, going back to the last point really, will hopefully less and less seek to have the final word on things, the definitive judgment on what's happening. And I think also it creates a space for readers to engage more with what's happening, to contribute their own ideas, knowledge, experience, and so on. So in that sense, the unfinished story, the ongoing story, I think has a lot of positive things to introduce into journalism. It also hopefully takes news organisations away from moving from story to story to story and leaving things, left open and unfinished. In terms of the negative aspects, well, I think one thing is we could see a leaning towards news stories that are like that are ongoing, and I think we already see that really in the print and broadcast media anyway. Your Madeleine McCann story, the stories that economically are attractive because a newspaper knows that, it's like, here's a great analogy, it's like the Lord of the Rings trilogy all being filmed at the same time. The studio knows that by filming the 3 different parts at the same time, they're going to save a lot of money than having to stage each one separately. And likewise, they're building on an established audience. So in that sense, a lot of news stories become franchises, and newspapers know that they're buying into something that's got a guaranteed return to some extent. So perhaps the iterative journalism of new media will see that happening. The viral effect, if it's getting a lot of traction on Google and so on. So that, to me, is one of the negative aspects, and I hope that's helpful.